devils even penetrated the pages of the Bible. Home sweet home, nigga, this modern day Rome. Assalamu alaikum, I was raised to say shalom. They create the division lives in your dome. Brainwashed with religion, but the vision isn't your own.
Yeah, cause they know what I'm about to come with. You see, I hope you got a tough skin, cause I know we coming from all type of religious backgrounds. And your slave master is responsible for all type of atrocities against our people. And just because you just happen to be a member of the religion, you think we should take it easy on the religion. And that's just not gonna happen. And we dealing with the Hebrew mythology today. I thought I cleaned that shit up 10 years ago. Niggas still breathing fire into that shit. Then you got the Serapis worship, the Christians trying to make Jesus black. If you're in any one of them books, the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, you got Jew-monia. All that shit come from the Jew. Every last one of them, the Jew done had his hands on it. If you revere Moses, put your hands in the air. You got Jew-monia, nigga. You don't want to throw it up. You don't want to throw a plagiarizer, a goddamn thief, stole up out of Egypt. Saying Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, but not one of you niggas want to say what it was he learned. Yeah, let's talk about this shit.
Now Acts 7:22, and it says, Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and in deeds. I don't even know why he even got to go further than that. Damn, he supposedly wrote the first book of the Bible. Genesis, even though we know it's a lie, let's go along with the lie. He wrote it. Okay then, where did he get his education from? Egypt. They didn't have no damn books before they went into Egypt. Just show it to them. All my Hebrew Israelites. Don't want to talk no more. Tired. Don't want to talk no more. I want to see original documentation. Can't show it to me? I don't want to hear no more fun.
So you see right here, Yahweh, a white man hand, coming out there and handing a motherfucking stone tablet. Now if that stone, that's gonna break that old nigga hands. How the hell he gonna hold a damn stone tablet like that, man? I mean, it's sick as hell, man. Now you know that damn tablet, shit, it got to be heavy as hell. And he just out here like he grabbing a piece of paper. That motherfucking wrist gonna break, man. So these tablets right there is in Kemet. Those are Shanu's. Do I need to say anymore? You've been watching too many Ten Commandments. You understand, eating all that goddamn turkey on Easter, and I don't even understand what the hell that shit is about. Because Easter supposed to be about Jesus, but they're always throwing on the Ten Commandments. Why y'all fucking with it? Is it the day Jesus rose? Or is it about Moses? You understand what I'm saying? Did y'all ever notice that? On Easter, they play the Ten Commandments.
It's all fairy tale.
Ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. But see, they say, we gonna just fuck these people up any way we can.
They just tell us any kind of stories. That's why they can only give you a picture of the story.
The word gymnasium is Greek for naked. This was the place where adolescent boys were educated and molested. This was accepted because Greek culture was homosexual.
Now here's Easter. See Easter? Now see what you can't see? See this man, he got another fake phallus. He got one in his ass and one in his mouth. Now what y'all don't see in the back, you see them eggs?
I do see the eggs.
They represent testes.
Oh my God.
See that? That's the Easter egg. So don't let me see you niggas cracking on eggs this Easter. Now I just showed y'all this shit. So if I see you cracking the egg, nigga, I know what's going on. Huh? Stay your ass on where you at. Because that's what it is. It's testes. You see him right back there, family. Happy Easter. God damn, we have been enslaved. We have been enslaved. See the little fags? See the fags on that Grecian thing? You see them eggs in the back? Happy Easter. Happy Easter, nigga. That's what that is. You know what the egg represents?
testes. Testes. That's what the egg represents. So that's why they up there. And dildos go back a long time. Greeks been freaking and all a long time. So you see this mother, he ain't got enough. He said he got to have one in his ass and one in his mouth at the same time. This is real life, man. I'm being real with y'all. And the funny shit about it is we learn to accept the shit. When we done stayed up on these motherfuckers so long, we have become them. They fractionalize our people. And fractionalize and frictionalize. So that's what that is, fam. Them eggs, cut that shit out. That's faggotry. That's faggotry. That's why the Easter bunny and the Playboy bunny is the same damn bunny. He's a freaky bunny at night. You know, he's the little one playing that game, hopping in the daytime with your little basket. You understand? Then go at night, he freaky deaky. That's the same cracker.
The word gymnasium is Greek for naked. This was the place where adolescent boys were educated and molested. This was accepted because Greek culture was homosexual. For example, Sappho trained girls on the island of Lesbos, hence the word lesbian.
Hey, let these dumb motherfuckers know.
This is Noah's Ark. Now how he got all them damn animals on that one little bitty ass boat is beyond me. But if you can figure it out, and you got certain animals that are only on one continent, and is surrounded by water. And so if he's in Israel, if he's in Arabia or Mesopotamia, how the hell did the koala bear get over there? How the damn kangaroo did fucking just jump all the way from goddamn Australia to goddamn, what the fuck did he do, man? You understand what I'm saying? You just got animals you got animals here, you got anacondas that's only in South America. How the hell did it get on the boat? And then you got certain animals, they're carnivorous. That means they eat meat. So if you put 2 lions on a motherfucker, 2 lambs, how did the lamb make it over? He don't eat nothing but meat. And then if you was out there for 40 days, 40 nights, and you got all these animals on there, where the fuck did the food go? Because you got to feed these motherfuckers. All the shit that was on the damn boat. How could you survive, man? I mean, come on, family, let's be straight up about this shit. It's a fairy tale.
What you see right there is the pyramid, is the boat of Khufu. That is his solar boat. This boat is 140 feet long, longer than Captain Cook's boat. When this boat was excavated in 1954 in a pit, over 1,200 pieces, the boat was dismantled. And they reconstructed, took 1,200 pieces to reconstruct this boat of Khufu. This boat was called the Nuank. What is the Nuank? What was the Nuank? The flooding of the Nile was called the Nuank. Now, when the Nile flooded, it was Khufu who realized that he could take his solar astral journey through the Nile to the celestial Nile. That boat was a spiritual symbolic boat to symbolically to take Khufu back to the celestial Nile. What was the purpose of the celestial Nile? The celestial Nile symbolically took him back to his spiritual father and first father, that was Asar. So here you see the inundation of the Nile connected with the Milky Way. This was called the Nuank. The flooding of the Nile was called the Nuank. And that was the purpose of Khufu's boat, was symbolically and spiritually was to take him back to his spiritual father. And that was during the inundation. So when the Nuank took place, that spiritually told us that we would connect to the Milky Way, that Nuank was corrupted to Noah's Ark. We got the boats, brothers and sisters. Here's the boat right here. If you went back to over 4,000 years ago in the 4th dynastic period and asked Khufu about Noah, boy, what's wrong with you? I don't know nothing about old Noah. Here's my boat right here. Here's all the animals of the world doing the number 1, number 2, and everything. They just tell us any kind of stories. That's why they can only give you a picture of the story. But yet this flood was supposed to have taken place because we are told that God in the Bible said that he was tired, that because in Genesis chapter 1 through 6, the sons of God married the daughters of men. Is that right? This is where we were at fault in Kemet because we married foreign women on our African throne. Although we would never marry none of our own to the foreigners because they were goddesses. Here, during the 5th dynasty, this African king is called Sahara. Now, here's the first time that we get a concept called Sa-Ra. Sa-Ra means the son of God. They were the sons of God in Kemet, marrying the daughters of men onto the throne of Kemet. This is where you get the concept in Genesis chapter 1, where the sons of God married the daughters of men was taken from ancient Kemet.
I'm gonna get on them goddamn Hebrews. We done already got on. All you do is pull any one of them out. Adam and Eve. I'm gonna show you they ain't nothing but vampires fleeing from the goddamn sun. Fleeing from the goddamn sun, ran right up into the Caucasus Mountains. Talking about the goddamn boat landed in Turkey. That's our new origin. And everything that came before the flood was washed away. This is why these niggas is saying that they come back into Africa. That they Asiatics. We got to wake up out of that. Goddamn it, Ham, the first supposed to be patriarch of the African race, a homosexual. They fuck us up from the beginning. The very first man that's supposed to be the patriarch, the 3 sons of Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. Ham supposedly saw Noah's nakedness on the boat. And some books even say he poked him. If you watch the new movie at the end, you'll see Ham walk off and you'll see Noah. He was gay father of Egypt, Ethiopia, Canaan, and Punt. And this God then gave the Israelites permission to commit genocide on the Canaanites. And this is a God that said, thou shalt not kill. And he done wiped out the whole goddamn earth with a flood. Okay? We getting in on this shit. Right here, the curse of Ham, the curse of Canaan. And then you look at this shit all on the damn internet. You look at Cush, all of these, they say curse Ham, Mizraim, which is Egypt, Canaan, which is modern day Israel, Nimrod. Do you understand that Nimrod was the son of Cush? And we always saying Babylon, down with Babylon. Not knowing that that's a Cushite land. Motherfuckers rooted for David. Not knowing that Goliath was from the Philistine, and the Philistine was the son of Egypt. But you rooted for David. See, you got to understand every player in the book before you read it. Then you can understand the politic in it. Take your time to read, and you will see that every African nation in the Bible is cursed. Let me keep it moving. Let me keep it moving. I don't want to read. Nah, this is Ecclesiastic 3. Verse 11. It says, he had made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the world in their heart so that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. So what the fuck is Genesis and what the fuck is Revelations? Because ain't no man supposed to know that. See? That's why so many goddamn contradictions in it. Y'all got to understand that Genesis is the foundation of the Bible. Not only the Bible, the New Testament, and the Quran. They need every player on the board. Adam and Eve, Noah, Abraham, they need every last one of them. And I just don't know how you gonna get them. Because I got something for every last one of them. Okay, let's come out of here. And then you go into Genesis. Let me go back. You go into Genesis, and it says, in the beginning. And it just says, that no man can find out the work that God maketh from the beginning to the end. And they start the goddamn book off in the beginning. I want y'all to look at Genesis. Now, let me keep it moving. Let me keep it moving. Let me keep it moving. I want y'all to understand something. All right? Now, I'm going to go down here. This is Genesis 16. And God made 2 great lights. The greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Now, this God created the sun, the moon, and stars on the 4th day. Now, all I want to ask y'all is what lit this motherfucker up for the first 3 days. Listen to me now. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go right in Genesis. He created the sun, the moon, and the stars on the fourth day. Now, what the hell, where was the earth at? Because we know the earth spinning around the sun. Why would you create the goddamn earth before you create the sun? What constitutes a day? 24 hours around the sun. But you didn't create that until the fourth day. So what lit this motherfucker up for the first 3 days? That's the question. I know. I'm gonna move on. And then you created the plant life on the 3rd day before the sun. And knowing that the goddamn plants is feeding from the sun. How do you do silly shit like that? And y'all won't question it because y'all say it's God inspired. Just tell the truth. The contradictions come from man. There is no God. It's only the creator. The creator is God. God is the creator dressed up like a damn man or a woman. You see Newt in the sky, she's a woman. But you see the stars is in her body. That's an anthropomorphic image of the cosmos. But it ain't no woman in the sky. But the spirit of the universe is feminine. That's what they saying. Ain't no goddamn man up in the sky with no hand around the earth and sun. That shit man put up it. And so when you hear a nigga saying God ordained me to kill you, you got to check that shit. You can't be so in fear of God, you can't check it when all the goddamn cards is stacked against you. Silly ass niggas. All the goddamn cards. Ain't one good motherfucker in from the African tribe. Not one good motherfucker. Got holidays, the Passover. That's when all the African babies was killed in Egypt, when the spirit of death moved through the land and the Hebrews was told to put the blood of the lamb over their door so that the spirit of death would move past them. So they writing all these goddamn stories about killing our babies, enslaving our women. Y'all, man, y'all got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up. And then they talk about they was building something before ancient Egypt so they could take credit. These motherfuckers, this is Joseph, who supposedly lived around 17. We know it's a lie, but we're going to use it. And he told them that Pharaoh was going to ask y'all, well, what is y'all job? And you know what the man said? Listen to me. And the men are shepherds, for their trade have been about to feed cattle. And it shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you and shall say, what is your occupation? Thy servant trade have been about cattle from our youth, even until now, we and also our father. This is in the 1700s. They still feed it. So don't let them niggas run in here and tell you they was building anything. That shit ain't in the Bible. And now you got Hebrews who supposed to be the chosen people. They need references outside of the Bible. God damn it, if you got God's word, nigga, you got it. God need an extra reference. They put more motherfucking energy into reference than they do the Bible. Trying to prove some fake ass Sumerian shit. Let me keep, and so we looking right there. This is what they was dwelling in. How do you go from a tent to a damn pyramid without evolution? Can you show us the evolution in that? Let me come out of this. This ham. Let me come out of this. I don't want to deal with this right now. We'll deal with, okay, the usurpation of the Garden of Eden. This is what y'all got to be clear about. When you go into Genesis, in the beginning, what does it say the Garden of Eden is? It's in Ethiopia. But they couldn't deal with that. Okay, now we're going into Noah. This is where I wanted to be. So the flood was a way of washing all the history that came before him. And you know where it landed? Mount Ararat, in the Caucasus Mountains. It went from Ethiopia to the Caucasus Mountains. And you see right here, they supposedly left Mount Ararat and went down into Shinar, into Babel or Babylon. Okay, and from there, then they went into Africa and the rest of the places. This is what the niggas is trying to say. And so you see the goddamn Mount Ararat? Any of y'all niggas come from up out some goddamn mountains of ice? Ain't nobody looked that shit up. Y'all embarrassed by that shit. So when they washed away Ethiopia, this became the new home of humanity. This is the starting point right here. And you know exactly where it's located, right around Khazaria. Y'all want to see? Right around Khazaria. Look at where it's at. Ain't no man come from up, no black man come from up there. Ain't nothing up there, no vegetation, no animal life, all cold region. What nigga gonna create some shit like that? That's a white man's origin. Look at them motherfuckers right there. Them the ones responsible for that shit. And you know what? And that's why I had to show Adam and Eve, because they always show them with that caveman uniform on. See, fleeing from that sun. And they wrote that shit right on in because they could not live out our scriptures. They had to destroy our scriptures and rewrite them scriptures. So you see where they running? Right back up into them goddamn mountains. See, it fit the story. Don't let them niggas show you no black motherfucker, nigga. Let's deal with the beginning of the book. You see what I'm saying? So this is Ethiopia, and the name of the second river of Gihon, the same as that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And so you got these crackers in the Garden of Eden. The whole backdrop is Africa. Ain't no goddamn animals like that in Sumeria. Let's just be real about it. You can go right to the goddamn National Geographic, any one of them and you can get them that information. So they done stolen our birthright. And then you got all these animals, I touched on that. Came across all types of divides, mountains, rivers, and then the goddamn boat landed in Turkey and they all got back. They all got back to where they came from. Ain't no 2 lambs and 2 damn lions. After he ate the motherfuckers, he would have died out because it wouldn't have been no more. Everybody would have had one good goddamn meal and it would have been a wrap. Let's count the shit out. You don't want to be real because you say God gave it to you. Your ass don't get this work tonight. And so when you talk about Adam and Eve, you can always see they fleeing and they hiding their face from the goddamn sun. It says that Adam and Eve was put out of Eden. We were never put out of Eden. We still in Africa right now today. So that could not have been us. We were never put out of Africa. Whoever that was put out. We in Africa right now today. We might be in turmoil, but we there. We were never put out. That's the story of another people. That's the story of another people. And so we could see the madness. Why did they have to change our scroll? Because this wasn't a reality. Look at the motherfucker's face. And it say God placed man in Ethiopia. Why would he do that? See, so he couldn't live this reality. So they had to change the Holy Land from Ethiopia to Sumeria because it was closer to where he came into the world. He thought he could take Mesopotamia, even though it was too hot for his ass there. And so we're looking at the Muslim. They say sun, moon, and star, but they got the sun up there, hiding the fact. And want to talk about ancient Egypt, talking about we worship the sun, we worship the moon, and they just stole the religion and hid it up under the concept of Allah. I asked any Muslim today, what was the first holy city that the Muslims prayed to? I said it last night, you don't even want to say. Jerusalem. 18 years. It's in the Quran. They show you the influence of the Jews on Islam. They want to talk about the Jews so much. But they prayed to Jerusalem for the first 18 years. You could go Google that right now. Okay? But you want to talk about this. See, I hear the quietness in that. You see? Always want to talk about the Jew. But when you fall out economically, then you want to rewrite the motherfucking story. Long as the economics is rolling, you praying to Jerusalem. When they ain't giving you no goddamn money, now you're praying to Mecca. And every one of us always look directly to these holy lands of our slave masters, looking over Africa, not even looking at the richness that we deny in our people to be a goddamn slave. You ain't getting shit out of goddamn none of these religions. I know. I done seen too many of my family pass on, and the goddamn churches they standing every goddamn day. You don't never see a goddamn church go down. All right, let me keep it. They all worship the sun. So you see, the first one is the temple of Abydos. You see how they let the sun in, because that's the most vital energy that we got. We don't need no goddamn nuclear energy. We got solar energy. Damn near 10,000 times more powerful than nuclear energy. And so you see that the Christian church, the Jewish synagogue, and the Muslims all keep that solar worship right there in their temples. They have never given it up. But they heard it because they know if we practice it the way that our ancestors was practicing it, we would have been killed their ass. I don't have no mercy on it. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of righteousness arise with healing in his wing. I think that's Malachi, showing you that when they took up out of Egypt, they took the worship of the sun. That's us. That's ancient Egypt. That's what they stole. Ain't no God in no goddamn sky gave them that. So now I'm showing you the difference between the Creator and God. You see at the bottom where man started to put the image of man over the sun. You still see the two cobras. You still see the wings. But God is anthropomorphic, always shown in the image of a man or a woman. Okay, that's God. He can't control that sun, but he can control what the fuck this motherfucker supposed to be saying, because he can write it in. He can write it in. He can't control the Creator. We just saying that it's parts of the universe that's masculine and feminine. The woman is on the cycle of the moon. The man is on the cycle of the sun. So we show them in feminine and masculine, gods and goddesses, but that don't mean the God is real in the physical sense. You can't talk, there's nothing up there. It's in the spirit. And so God is a control mechanism. There's so many goddamn religions, and nobody could talk to the God but the goddamn clergy. Because if you could talk straight to God, what the fuck would you need the religion for? So you need them. You need them. So that's God. Let me keep it moving. See right here, for the Lord God is a sun and a shield. No good thing will he withhold from them that walk uprightly. Talk to me. You see right there in the Jewish synagogue, you see that Yahweh is represented as what? The sun. That's what chased their ass out of Eden. When you start seeing them show God as a man, that's anthropomorphic. They really trying to hide the true meaning of what put their ass out. Ain't no man, it was the sun that drove. That's a white man's story. You always show them they hide their face from the sun. Goddamn it, Adam and Eve is one of the earliest vampire stories, where the motherfuckers flee back up into the caves because of that sun. And they removed, because they knew that our sacred scriptures was basically sun scrolls, because we were a sun people. They couldn't live out no religion like that, because it was too evident that God was cursing them. So when you understand in the deeper mysteries of all these religions, God is the S-U-N. You got to throw that anthropomorphic image away. It's the sun. See right there? Using the pyramid. How do you know something is divine in religion? You had a halo. That's sun worship off the top. All of them use that. You see, they got that from the Nile Valley. And that just show you how our priests and priestesses went out all over the planet Earth. Okay? It's too many different cultures that you can show that are borrowing from Egypt. You don't see this type of culture being borrowed from no damn Bible. Show it evidently. Show it, just put the imagery of how the world is so-called following the Hebrews in the ancient world. The Romans gave credit to the Egyptians. The Greek gave credit to the Egyptians. All them ancient cultures gave credit to Egypt and Ethiopia. That's undeniable fact. And then it says in Joshua 24, it says, now therefore, fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. So they was worshiping African gods. And the Bible say it. But what gods were those? See, those were the gods they had before Yahweh. And they cannot deal with that. Everything of every religion come out of ancient Egypt. Look at Canaan. What is this? Isaiah 24. But now, O Lord, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou art potter. And we are all the work of thy hand. If Moses was learned in all the wisdom, it didn't say some of the goddamn wisdom. If he was raised up in the royal house, he would have had to get an education just like all the other children. So he knew the religion, he knew the laws. And then you gonna lie and say some goddamn God gave you these weak laws? Goddamn, we don't need no God to give us thou shalt not kill. Anybody committed a murder in here yet? Is it all because of the Bible? Or is it because it's innately in us to be righteous people? So damn, that ain't no great feat for no God to come and give some goddamn laws. Man could develop him goddamn self. Honor thy mother. We don't need God to give us no goddamn law like that. We could do that for ourselves. Get me free, nigga. Do something great. Look at this. Look at the music. You never see no originality. They don't have no walls where they can show what a Hebrew look like. So every time you see some shit, it's an animation. And you see right here, all that. This is at the temple of Isis. The temple of Heru on the island of Philae. And you see right there, Bess playing the harp. We dealing with facts. And then you look at the Ark of Covenant, and they got the two angels on top. That ain't nothing but our set, man, in my eye. That's all that it is. And you see right there, I set right there, the Holy Mother, who was also symbolically the falcon. So the falcon got a feministic and a masculine with Heru. But when you see I set, taking the holy sperm from Osiris, she's a falcon. That's right. She's a falcon. And sometimes she'll have the feather of Ma'at in her talons, flying over. And you see right there that they also stole some of the science of Tahuti, which they call the magic of Tahuti. And you see right there what they call the brazen serpent, where God didn't curse their ass. And they always talking about they chose. And they was the hardest motherfuckers in the book to live by the so-called God laws. He always cursing their ass. In order to get the curse off of them, Moses had to put the serpent up on the staff. And when they looked down upon it, it healed them. And you gonna tell me they was in Egypt for over 400 goddamn years and you didn't see this shit all on the walls? God damn it, we've been in the same amount, in America the same amount of time. Every nigga know the law. Your ass been down there at downtown. Looking them goddamn peoples in their eye. Niggas know the law. So they was in there. They knew every goddamn thing. Don't come up out and you say you was learned in all the wisdom and then we put the shit up here and niggas won't look left and right like they don't see this shit. All right then. Amen. All of them in their prayer in the great God name. Huh? Hebrew, Muslim, and Christian. All of them say if it ain't Amen, it's Amin, which means the same thing. They remember when they was in Egypt. They remember when they was being taught by the Ethiopians. And you see the ram horns, which was also sacred to Amen. And then here these motherfuckers go, blowing the ram's horn. Here they go, blowing the ram's horn. The secret worship of Amen. Then the goddess, the black goddess, Heru, the black woman, the black mother, the holy black mother, shown as the Ka, And you see Moses come down with the weak-ass 10 Commandments and destroy the black mother worship. Okay, that's the Semitic attack on the black woman is God. They can't accept no woman. Look at this shit, Serapis worship. So y'all watch this shit at Easter? Why they play the 10 Commandments at Easter? I thought it was about Jesus. Okay, this is where these niggas get their outfits from. They have no wall of ancient, times that show anything of what a Hebrew ever looked like. I'm gonna go over it again. They have no original book from out of the Old, New Testament, or Quran. They don't have the original. And it's so goddamn funny, they give you a date for Moses at almost 1300 BCE. They give it to you. Do you know the oldest goddamn manuscript in Hebrew they got to date? The Dead Sea Scrolls. By what time? About 200 to 70 AD. Now, you got 1,000 years between Moses and the Dead Sea Scrolls. You got 1,000 years of inactivity between Moses and the earliest Hebrew script, which is the Dead Sea Scrolls. You can go look that up. So how the fuck did they come up with the books? If it wasn't nobody writing for 1,000 years, how did this motherfucker end up with all them books without no original book? Y'all got to wake up. Look, Moses was a murderer. St. Paul was a murderer. The two people that had the biggest influence on writing the Bible, the Old and the New Testament, because what? St. Paul was Saul of Tarsus. St. Paul had more influence on the New Testament than any one man, including Jesus. So the two individuals that had the most influence on writing the goddamn book were murderers. Moses and St. Paul. Saul of Tarsus. What a goddamn book. All the motherfuckers fucking with these books is murderers, killers. Goddamn God tell you to turn the other cheek and he wipes the whole fucking earth out in a flood. Tell you to turn the other cheek. Goddamn, you didn't turn no goddamn cheek. He loves you, y'all. All right, let me keep it moving. All right then, we connecting some goddamn dots today. You see? Let me get out of this. And then okay, we got that. And this right there is in the 16th chapter. I'm gonna go back up to the economics. But I'm showing you that God created evil. Isaiah 45:7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. Create evil. This your good Lord? Create evil? You set us up there, nigga. You didn't have to do that. You could have made it good for your people. You set us up there. And then we got to look at this. That what they call Israel is on the continent of Africa. Have you ever heard of tectonic plates? So when you look at the African plate, you can see the coastline of what they call Israel is on the African plate. Even part of the island of Cyprus is on the African plate. It's Africa. It's Africa. Geologically, it's Africa. Go look it up. Go look it up. Go look it up. Go on back home and look it up. This is at the Temple of Abydos. And I'm glad to bring this up because no other people got a dynastic record like this. 76 kings, 2,000 years. Right there you see the taller king, that's Seti the first. And you see right there his son Ramesses. And what does he say? He said, behold my son, study your forefathers, study your ancestors. Here's the great ones. And you see him right there with them books, them scrolls in his hand. And they show you in the movie that Moses was brother to Ramesses. So he would have had to have a comparable education, okay? He would have had to know them kings long before he wrote the goddamn Bible. And I got the chronology of Moses, which y'all need to learn, and y'all need to break that code. Because we always quick to put Genesis first. And all these, Exodus is the first book of the Bible. Look at niggas. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you chronology, based on chronology, that's correct. They didn't have no goddamn story of origin. All the fuck they was goat herders. They had nothing. They had to rewrite everything to show themselves a historical people. They fabricated that shit. What you have to understand that the first 5 books of the Bible are accredited to Moses. But you must know the chronology of his life so you can understand the chronology of the books. Now Moses supposedly lived to be 120 years old. In Acts 7, it breaks his life down to 3 40-year periods, adding up to 120. The first 40, he's Egyptian. Somehow the nigga figure out he's an Israelite, he kills Pharaoh's soldier, and he flee Egypt. He's 40 years old. Then he flee into the desert, into the land of Midian. He stayed there for 40 years, and at the burning bush, for the first time, God talks to Moses. Now he's 80 years old. And in the last 40 years of the Israelites, they wandered through the desert. And there, in the last 40-year period of his life, that's when he receives the books, the laws. But you must understand, in the first 40 years and the second 40 years, there was no books, because he didn't get them until the last 40 years. So when you open up Exodus, you open up with Moses as a baby, chronologically in order, because he did not get the books. Let me show you. See, he's an old man. See, he's an old man when he gets the books. He ain't got no Genesis. He ain't got none of that shit. But he been training in Egypt, looking on the walls. And if he was comparable to Ramesses, and this man looking at 2,000 years of kings, how the fuck can you use the biblical chronology? And all of this shit came before this man was even born. You see? See right there, he's a baby. He's in the Nile. Ain't no goddamn books. He didn't get the books till he was an old man. See, it's hard for y'all niggas to understand that. He didn't get Genesis. He didn't get Leviticus and Deuteronomy. He didn't get none of that until he was in his last 40-year period. He was damn near dead when he got that. So you have to go back and understand, at this point in time, they had no books. So what did he read? What did he study? And so you got to go back to these great kings. And then another thing, that Moses marries an Ethiopian woman in Midian. And do you know that God commands Moses to destroy the tribe? Listen to it. And the Lord, wait a minute, let me go back here so you can see this. Now the high priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And Moses was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter. And in Numbers chapter 12, it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. Now go over here to Numbers 31, and it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, avenge the children of Israel of the Midianites. This is wife tribe. Afterward shalt thou be gathered unto thy people. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, arm some of yourselves unto war, and let's go against the Midianites and avenge the Lord of Midian. And they slew all the males. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives. Now this is wives, sisters. Do you understand that? This is the tribe of the goddamn woman he married that gave him 2 children. And he took the spoil of all their cattle and of all their flock and all their goods, and they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt and all their goodly castles with fire. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that have known man by lying with him, but all the women children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. That's the God that you niggas got in the Bible. And you got to understand that the Mennonites was Ethiopians. I just showed you where the woman was recognized as an Ethiopian. And then another thing. And then you go to Deuteronomy 31, and it says it came to pass, and when Moses had made an end of writing the words of his law in a book, the goddamn God just handed him a tablet. And then it says, and it came to pass when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished. In order to have a book, you got to have paper. I'm on end. You got to have paper. Okay, where did the man learn how to write? No Hebrew wrote before Moses. I got to be clear about that. When you sink Moses, you sink everything. When you sink Genesis, you sink all that shit. And it's very clear that majority of all the characters, if not all of them, in Genesis is fictional. All of them. The Adam and Eve, I just showed you. You could clearly see that the sun put them out, and the simple fact that they tried to usurp Ethiopia and move the central point of all humanity to the Caucasus goddamn mountains, Mount Ararat, that proves everything that only a white man would do that. If a man gonna cheat, he gonna cheat for his people. All right? If a man gonna write in something holy, he gonna write it in for his people. So we expecting the only man that will ever say that humanity descended from the Caucasus Mountains is a man from the Caucasus Mountains. Believe that. Them white people didn't have their hands on that book.
I used to wonder why people don't believe in themselves, and then I saw the way they portrayed us to everyone else. They cursed us to only see the worst in ourselves, blind to the fact the whole time we were hurting ourselves.
From this 12th century AD map here, we see Abraham. Of course, they have him white here, but they show the inhabitants as being black. But they want to keep that with the curse story, you see. That's why they're black. But when it's a historical event, they make the people white. But yet this is Michelangelo's painting of Moses being white and Aaron cursed black.
The Canaan story, that Ham story where they say niggas was cursed black. Niggas wasn't even on the planet. You know, Canaan was Ham, the three sons of Noah, they got on the boat, and Ham, in the Talmud, they say he sodomized Noah. Okay? See, y'all don't get into that. See, y'all don't get into, y'all get that little watered down shit, but the Talmud, for the Jew, is the official interpretation of the book. So you just don't get your own particular interpretation. So that's why they say Ham was cursed, because he sodomized his father on the boat. And he cursed Canaan, his son, his fifth son, and that curse was that they would be niggas. Even the Talmud say that part of the curse that he will be shamefully elongated, if you know what that means. Okay? He's swinging low. Now, I don't know about no curse shit. That sounds more like a blessing shit. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, but that's where you get this information from.
When we went back to the highlands of Gondar in Ethiopia, we can see the Beta Israel people, the Aga people. And Dr. Ben is also an Aga or Beta Israel. And they look at themselves as being the chosen people, the original chosen people, where the European Jews are trying to say they are the chosen people of God. As I said before, the first people on the planet Earth are the chosen people of God. But Mac and Pagan and Moshe Dayan, they tried to annihilate them at one time because they were practicing the origins of the Hebrew faith. And they tried to force on them the Babylonian Talmud version of the Bible, and they refused to accept it because they said, in our book, the original writings of Moses, we have nothing in there about no curse story of black people being cursed. So they refused to accept it, so they tried to exterminate them. And they said they're from the tribe of Dan. And the tribe of Dan is the cursed tribe. They said in Ethiopia, we're not from the tribe of Dan, we're from the tribe of Ephraim. You must be from the tribe of Dan and the lost tribe, because we're not lost, we're right here in Ethiopia. You're running around trying to take everybody's homeland, Ashkenazi European Jews.
We go on, we see a brother named Taharka. This African here named Taharka is found in the Bible. He's a pharaoh during the 25th dynastic period, who also had to come up to free his brothers. He also saved his own Hebrew brothers from annihilation from the Assyrians, as it speaks of in Kings, chapter 19, verse 9 and 10. It talks about Taharka freeing his own African brothers. These were the ancient Hebrews, African Hebrews. Long before Ashkenazi Jews came on the scene from the Caucasus Mountains out of Europe, these were the Africans who inhabit the area who call themselves Hebrews, okay, who came from the tribe of Judah. We go on to see, in fact, we went to the highlands of Ethiopia. And we visit with some of the Beta Israel people, who they are called Philoshes, who they see themselves as the chosen people, the first people who are chosen, or the first people on the planet Earth. They have the high holy holidays, and it is here that European Jews try to exterminate them, because they are the only people who practice from the original first 5 books of Moses. And it is here that from European Jews try to say that they were from the tribe of Dan, the cursed tribe. And they said they were the lost Jews. And the Ethiopian Jews responded, we're not lost. We're right here in Ethiopia. But you are lost because you're trying to take everybody's homeland. So you took it off the Palestinians. They even try to consider Uganda their homeland. So they're not from the tribe of Dan. They say we're from the tribe of Ephraim, and you're the lost Jews trying to take everybody's homeland. We go on to see that, in fact, that the curse story, the reason why they refused to accept their version of the Bible, the Babylonian Talmud version, because here at the Conference of Germany in 90 AD, Europeans sit down and wrote in the curse story. And this is what they wrote, as I have on the screen, but I'll read it from the book. It states here, now I cannot beget the 4 sons whose children I would have ordered to serve you and your brothers. Therefore it must be Canaan your firstborn whom they enslaved. And since you have disabled me doing the ugly things in the blackness of night, Canaan's children shall be born ugly and black. Moreover, because you twisted your head around to see my nakedness, your grandchildren's hair shall be twisted into kinks and their eyes red. Again, because your lips jested at my misfortune, theirs shall swell. And because you neglected my nakedness, they shall go naked. And their male members shall be shamefully elongated. Men of this race are called Negroes. And their forefathers Canaan commanded them to love, theft, fornication, to be banded together in hatred of their masters, and never to tell the truth.
Now, when was that?
This took place at the Conference of Germany in 90 AD, and it is here where it ended up in the Babylonian Talmud version of the Bible, written in 550 years AD. So, to me, that would be a gutter and dirty religion, to systematically write us out in the name of God. This spiritually murdered us. In fact, even the Beta Israel people, who are also called the Philoshes, when they come to Israel, they have to become recircumcised before they're acknowledged as true Jews. But Russian Jews don't have to become circumcised. European Jews don't have to become recircumcised. No other Jews have to become recircumcised, but they have to become recircumcised.
Why?
Why do they have to become recircumcised? It is here because they know they are the true Hebrew people. And the psychopathic racism and the castration, that it is part of the mentality of the people that equally castrated black men in this country. We see there's always a sex torture, perverted type of torture coming from this type of mind. Where Hebrew religion, Christianity coming up out of Africa, this is why they systematically taught us to hate ourselves. So now we see the coming of the white Jesus. And even black became negative. It's a black day. I'll blackball you. Everything black became negative. So that systematically taught us to hate ourselves within the culture where black was negative. We go on to see that even as a child, in grade school, the teacher told me to go look up the color black, and it says the color of coal, strictly the absence of all color, to a Negro, entirely or relatively dark, dismal, wicked, evil, calamitous, street, to let you know again, Negro. They go on to say black eye, black fly, black gnats. Why couldn't they say black? The key carbon atom for life in the universe. Blackness, the blackness of the universe. Blackness, black people, the African people, the first people on the planet Earth. No, we get dismal, wicked, evil, calamitous, Negro, flies, and gnats. This is where we see psychopathic racism. We're not dealing with racism, we're dealing with a psychopathic racist condition. Even their visions of heaven and hell was always black demons and devils. But yet St. Peter is jet black in the Vatican to this day. But yet this is Michelangelo's painting of Moses being white and Aaron cursed black. But when we go to the scriptures, we read that in Numbers chapter 12, verse 10, it says, "And a cloud departed off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moses, Alas, my Lord, beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us." What was the sin? The sin was white as snow. So how could they have Aaron cursed black here? This is the systematically psychopathic racism that killed us and put us in spiritual enslavement.
This is 2 Kings 7, 25 through 27. And this is dealing with Gehazi. And I didn't put the whole story in it, but Gehazi and you have to read the story. He ended up stealing one way or another. He took something that he wasn't supposed to take. And when his master, called him on it, he lied, said that he didn't do it. But from my understanding that God had came into his master and let him know that he had lied. And so his curse, he was cursed for that. He was cursed for his betrayal of his master. And if you go down here to 27, it says, "The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow." It says, and cleave unto thee, unto thy seed, his seed forever. That his seed will be white as snow. Who gives birth to white people all the damn time but white people? That's a white race right there, man. That's a white race. It says it will cleave unto thy seed forever. And went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. It got to be a white man, because it can't be an albino, because you still got black as your origin. A black man could give birth to albino. It's not the whole race. This is a race right here.
Decided Jesus was born on December 25th and raising on the third day is a myth. Plus to deceive us. Commissioned Michelangelo to paint white pictures of Jesus. He used his aunt, uncle, and nephew. Subconsciously, that affects you. It makes you put white people closer to God.
This is a Medu Neter symbol right here. See, way at the top, if we can zoom in on that, that's called the Neb. The Neb is a symbol of a bow that means Lord. Let's break this down, because we've also lost our ancient language and our symbols. The ancient language, and the oldest language was the Medu Neter language. That symbol is called the Neb, the bow. Let's go see what it is. We come out a little bit, and we see that in the Medu Neter writing, the Neb was called the bow. It was called the Lord. See? We go on to see, it is here, this was called Asar, Lord of Life, when the star system series rose. So the bowl was symbolic of the Lord, and Asar was the Lord of life, of resurrection. But where do we find it? Because now we see Michelangelo's paintings, we see Jesus now coming out of the bowl, which was a symbol of the Lord. The European version of Jesus, by the way, Michelangelo's painting. So the symbols are all there. Where it came from, Asar, who was Lord of life when the star system series rose. Notice the sun is perpendicular to the star system series.
Right.
December the 25th, our ancestors saw that the Ceres star rose. So it was perpendicular to that star. That's why when you see the pine tree, here you see a human figure here, which was a symbolic of the sun. The European Jesus was perpendicular to the star system series, as we saw on the monuments and temples a few minutes ago. But why do we have the pine tree? Because in Europe, they worshiped that tree. All of nature became barren, and they couldn't figure out how the pine tree could stay green year-round. So they bowed down and worship, and they still keep us worshiping that tree, because in order for you to get your gift, you must bow down and get the tree, get the gift. And they call us animists. We said, no, you must be at one with nature. You destroy nature, you destroy the hierarchy of elemental forces, which is God itself. And now today, what have they done? Deforestation, caused all kinds of havoc on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Now, I'm about to get sticky now. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm about to get sticky. See, you see the crescent? You see the star? I'm going to lead y'all down this road. They got a cultural origin. They come out of that cold climate. That's why they replaced the moon, the sun, with the star, because they moved at night. That's all they're saying.
In the northern hemisphere during late December, the days are at their shortest lengths and the nights are at their longest. For those of the pagan world, this has always been the greatest time of the year to celebrate and practice the works of darkness. The pagan calendar identifies this period as the winter solstice. It was during the pre-Christian midwinter pagan celebrations of Scandinavia's Norsemen where today's Christmas traditions began.
And so you see Santa Claus, what time do he move? He moves at night. He moves at night. He's a moon deity. That's what he is. He's a moon deity. Now, you see that? Same symbols. Same symbols. They're interchangeable because they come from the same origin. And so you see here, you see the witch's hat with the star at the top, and you see the Christmas tree with the star at the top. It's interchangeable. It's Kabbalism. All that, I'm going to show you. I'm just warming y'all up. See the Kabbalah tree? See the different colors? These are the bulbs. See the sun at the star at the top, and over here you see the bulb with the tree at the top. The Jew is the one that broke. If y'all go to any store this Christmas, the Jew is the one selling all the damn toys. He don't even practice Christmas, but he's the man that produces all the toys that y'all go buy. He creates the damn holiday. The holiday is not ran by Christians, it's ran by Jews. Flat out. And so you see right here, you see the Kabbalah tree. It's the same thing. You see the star at the top, and you see these are the buds. They playing with y'all. That shit is witchcraft. And hell, you gonna drag a damn tree in your living room. That don't even make no damn sense. Don't y'all know that's idolatry? That's white people's idolatry. Because that's a damn evergreen tree. That comes from the north. You still worshiping white people. And there's the sun. We prayed during the cycle. You know how the sun goes through its cycle. You have the morning sun, the afternoon sun, the setting sun. We were the first people that prayed according to the sun cycle. You see this? You see that star? You see that? You see that crescent? They cannot come out in the sunlight. They cannot come out in the sunlight, so they move at night. Dracula, the damn werewolf, that's right. All of them have a symbol of the goddamn moon.
In the northern hemisphere during late December, the days are at their shortest lengths and the nights are at their longest. For those of the pagan world, this has always been the greatest time of the year to celebrate and practice the works of darkness. The pagan calendar identifies this period as the winter solstice. It was during the pre-Christian midwinter pagan celebrations of Scandinavia's Norsemen where today's Christmas traditions began. As a means of honoring the pagan sex and fertility god Yule, a 12-day celebration during the month of December was inaugurated. A large single log considered to be a phallic idol was lit on fire and kept burning for 12 days. Animal or human sacrifices were offered in the fire on each of those days. Wild, delirious reveling accompanied the daily sacrifices as drunken participants defiantly strove to make contact with spirits.
Now you see how these holidays are interchangeable? They're interchangeable holidays. Now hell, you talking about is a Jesus and a damn witch, a Jewish witch created all that garbage. Damn it, the Jews is the one control Christmas, not even the damn Christians. Should they control all of these stores that's out here that everybody shopping in the holidays? So that's what that is, Santa Claus, Satan Claus. He's nothing but Thor, Odin, that Viking god.
In Germany, the pagan god Odin lent his name to this midwinter holiday. Early Germans were terrified of Odin, whose nocturnal flights decided who would prosper or perish in the coming year. Later, we'd see another Christmas sky rider, Santa Claus. But for now, staying inside became the smartest choice at this frightening time of the year.
Nah, this is Woden, Odin, king of the Viking gods. That's all Santa Claus sees. They ain't gonna tell you that. Go look them days up of the week. My brother Nabel gave me the list of all the days because he saw that I was skipping a few days, and I still only know the 3-4 days. Wednesday for Woden. That's Woden right there. Thursday, and that's all I need. I don't need to know them all. Thursday for Thor. Thursday is for Thor. Wednesday is for Woden. Friday is for Frigga, which is the wife of Odin, the mother of Thor.
Hey, let these dumb motherfuckers know.
December 25th, the birth of Saturn, a homosexual god. Now check the historical pattern. December 25th, now thought the birth of Christ was Saturnalia. When men got drunk, fucked each other, then beat their wife. Fact is, it was still practiced till they called it Christmas. So put a gerbil on your Christmas list.
For many of us, our fondest childhood memories revolve around the traditions of Christmas. It is a time that many around the world celebrate as the birth of Jesus Christ, the Savior and Messiah of mankind.
And that's what Christmas is all about.
You hear that, boy? That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday. And Jesus probably hates you for celebrating it.
There ain't gonna be no Scrooges in this house, boy.
Look, Granddad, it's clear from the scripture that Jesus was not born in winter. The shepherds who saw the angels announcing his birth would not have been out in their fields in December. The Palestinian winters are too cold, if you believe in that sort of thing. The truth is, Christmas evolved from the Roman holiday Saturnalia, a winter festival where men gave gifts to each other. They also would get drunk, have sex with each other, and beat their wives. People would act so crazy on Christmas, the holiday was outlawed by the Protestant Church until the 1800s.
Every winter, from at least the 2nd century BC and likely many centuries before then, the ancient Romans held a major festival called the Saturnalia. During this celebration, among other things, the Romans had huge parties. They decorated their houses with greens and gave each other gifts. Saturnalia began on December 17th and lasted about a week. It was followed on December 25th by the birth date of the pagan god Mithras, a celebration known as the birth of the unconquered sun.
In pre-Christian Rome, celebrants were paying homage to their own gods during the winter solstice. Witchcraft traditions hold that a number of pagan gods were given birth during this period, including Dionysus, Attis. Another pagan god from Persia, identified as Mithra, was said to have been born specifically on December 25th. Mithra was the god of the unconquerable sun, the god of the light between heaven and earth, worshipped at that time by an influential Roman cult. His birth symbolized an end to the long nights and a return to the dominance of the sun. During the month-long winter solstice celebration, courts in Rome were closed. Any and all crimes were allowed. Homosexuality, cross-dressing, and uncontrolled debauchery reigned supreme. Rome's order was turned upside down. Even children were allowed to join in the drunken orgies as part of the Juvenalia celebration. By 270 AD, the Roman Emperor Aurelian had made it official, setting aside a 7-day period from December the 17th through the 24th, culminating in an exchange of gifts on December the 25th to celebrate the birth of the sun god. This Roman orgy to end all orgies later became known as Saturnalia, in honor of the god Saturn, the god of excess. It was hoped that the pagan celebrations of Saturnalia would merge into this new legally sanctioned form of Christianity. The Church's practice of changing the dates of Christian events to coincide with pagan festivals continued, and by the 7th century, Pope Gregory I had ordered Augustine of Canterbury to incorporate any and all pagan practices and customs into the expanding Roman Catholic Church. During the Middle Ages, the debased Mardi Gras atmosphere of what was now known as Christ's Mass had reached a fevered pitch. Common practices included open sex in the streets, rioting, murder, and a number of pagan druidic Halloween rituals. This blood-drenched celebration got so out of hand that by 1652, following the execution of King Charles I, Christ's Mass was finally outlawed in England. A religious reform movement began sweeping the country, led by Puritan Oliver Cromwell. The Puritans took the biblical mandate seriously, which commanded that Christianity remain pure and separate from paganism. Despite their noble efforts, the celebration simply went underground, and by 1656, after only 4 short years under the ban, the public's demand for the legalization of Christ's Mass had become insurmountable. The appointment of Charles II to the throne restored England's monarchy, and with it the celebration of Christ's Mass.
And that's what Christmas is all about.
You hear that, boy? That's what Christmas is all about.
Actually, Granddad, Christmas is a pagan holiday, and Jesus probably hates you for celebrating it.
There ain't gonna be no Scrooges in this house, boy.
Look, Granddad, it's clear from the scripture that Jesus was not born in winter. The shepherds who saw the angels announcing his birth would not have been out in their fields in December. The Palestinian winters are too cold, if you believe in that sort of thing. The truth is, Christmas evolved from the Roman holiday Saturnalia, a winter festival where men gave gifts to each other. They also would get drunk, have sex with each other, and beat their wives. People would act so crazy on Christmas, the holiday was outlawed by the Protestant church until the 1800s.
Hey, let these dumb motherfuckers know.
December 25th, the birth of Saturn, a homosexual god, and I checked the historical pattern. December 25th, and I thought the birth of Christ was Saturnalia, when men got drunk, fucked each other, then beat their wife. Fact is, it was still practiced till they called it Christmas, so put a gerbil on your Christmas list.
But what did Brother Collar tell us? That they were from the caves and hillsides of Europe. You know that's what the brother told us. A Johnny-come-lately Jew. That's what Brother Collard said. Israel's debt to Egypt. They owe a debt to us, brothers and sisters, because the economic power that they got, they're suppressing and oppressing us with our African ancestral knowledge. So what do you think the kind of power it would be when it gets back to its rightful owners? So even when we see the pyramid, and then we see another pyramid upside down, this was a concept that was stolen from your African ancestors. Each equilateral planes of the pyramids represented earth, air, fire, and water. We see fire meaning sign, meaning Ra, earth meaning Geb, air meaning Shu, water meaning Noon. Each equilateral planes of the pyramid, this is what it represents. That's how they made up their Moken Da'u. Off of your ancestral symbols of air, earth, fire, and water that goes back to the pyramid's equilateral planes. Not only that, let's go after this now. That's why our ancestors, even Mary Jehudi, the last African priest, said that we were star children, that when we came from the beginning of the Nile, we followed the 7 pole stars. We were the ones who mapped out the universe, long before some Galileo, long before some Copernicus, showing where Ra rotated around the 7 pole stars every 26,000 years, huh? Now look closely now, because this is Ra that rotated around the 7 pole stars, that Ashkenazi Jews took it and made a symbol called the 7 candlesticks to represent the 7 pole stars. Look closely.
Now what you're seeing now is the Jewish Museum in New York City. And what they have at the top of their museum is the step pyramid. Now again, I just gave you the information that the step pyramid of Saqqara was built 1,000 years before Abraham. Now, why would they steal a monument they know that was created before they even existed? That's just flat out thievery. That's just flat out thievery. There's no other way around that. Let us move to circumcision. And what they speak of in the Hebrew religion is that circumcision started with Abraham. And we know that to be a damn lie. Reading from Genesis 17, verse 10, it speaks, "This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised." Now right here is a relief from the tomb of Ankh-Mahor. And Ankh-Mahor lived during the time around 2400 BCE. And it shows the neophytes the initiates being circumcised before entering the priesthood. And as you look here, it didn't just start here. It had already was being practiced long before you see it on the wall. Now what we're seeing here is the Hebrew priest blowing the ram's horn sacred to Amun-Ra. You've seen the practices, you've seen the deities, you've seen the animals that were sacred to the deities. When we have it as African people, it's idolatry, it's paganism, it's heathenism. But you can take the same symbol and then it becomes holy. This shows our Sultan, Pharaoh Tutmosis III, with the ram horns representing Ra, clearly a part of his religious identification. We see this. You see also Khnum, which was a sacred deity of the Nile Valley, who was represented as a ram. When the African have it, idolatry. When the African has it, paganism, heathenism. But when the Hebrews, supposedly God's chosen people, when they take the same symbols up off of the walls, all of a sudden it becomes holy. Again, we're showing you the secret worship of Amun in the Hebrew religion, blowing of the ram's horn. So-called Jew, Mr. See-Through Hebrew, you was there for 430 years, looking on the walls. Is it just by coincidence that you would take the same sacred animals of the Egyptians, the Nubians, and the Ethiopians, and these animals will become the same sacred animals in your own religion, stolen religion that you got up out of Africa? You understand what I'm saying? For you to have been in Egypt for 430 years and had not seen these concepts would be like us saying we've been here for 450 years and we don't know of the Constitution. We don't know of the Declaration of Independence. We don't know of Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. It's absurd for you to say you didn't know about these concepts in Egypt, in Africa.
This temple called Karnak today, or Ipit-Asut, as our ancestors called it, going into this temple, as I said, these are temples or books in stone. The pylons are pages of history telling of our story. But as you go into the temple, you see the ram symbolized as Amun. That was the Zoot type, as Amun. Now, we see Ursa Ma'at Ra, Septepen Ra Ramesu Ramari Amun, a little practice you can say it too. Here we see, that was his throne name, as they call Ramsey from Ramesu, is now under the ram, symbolized as Amun. 2,000 years ago, our ancestors worshipped Amun, and his symbol was the ram because the sun was in the constellation of Aries. I show this because let's go to Christian art, and you see the ram in the European Roman Christian art. Why is that ram in their Christian art? Because they were deifying and worshiping Amun. Is this animal worship here? If they have the animal ram represented as Amun in their art, and it's not animal worship, why they come into Kemet and say animal worship and pagan and heathen and polytheism and all these other type of negative terms? Michael Bradley says, chosen people from the Caucasus, says this: Israel was conceived by Ashkenazi Jews to buttress their delusion, to feed that insatiable desire for an identity in time. Israel was established by deceiving the rest of the world, but particularly the North American public, about the real origin of the Ashkenazim. And where is their origin? The Caucasus Mountains, where it says Ashkenaz. We got that right? Goes on to say, that deception was made possible by Jewish influence and U.S. mass media and international finance. In short, the vast majority of Jews in the world are Ashkenazim, who are descended from the Khazars, convert to Judaism, who have no genetic or historical connection with the biblical Jews or Palestine at all. But when we now consider that 95% of the Jews in the modern world are Ashkenazim, their claim to a Jewish homeland in Palestine becomes absurd, grotesque. They are descended from the Caucasus. The Caucasus, as you see right here, who have no historical or genetic link with this land right here. Michael Bradley, chosen from the Caucasus. So, United Nations decision in 1947 to partition Palestine. That means after World War II, United States and England got together because of this man right here named Theodor Herzl, who's the father of Zionism. That means Zionism and European colonialism, all of it is about European world domination. European world imperialist conquest. He is the one that petitioned the United States and England to take the land off the Palestinians, who the African Canaanites had it before them. He goes back to these people right here that our ancestors were trying to tell us all along on the temples. The Hyksos, Hyksos, who invaded our land. And now you have some Ashkenazis running around talking about their God's chosen children. But what did Brother Collard tell us? That they were from the caves and hillsides of Europe. You know that's what the brother told us. A Johnny-come-lately Jew. That's what Brother Collard said. And it's right, because I got the maps that they don't want you to see today. It says Ashkenaz, Caucasus Mountains. Now this is right here in King James, Genesis chapter 10. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. Where are these places? Tubal, Togarmah, Gomer, Tyrus, all in the northern hemisphere. As Brother Collard said, you're from the caves and hillsides of Europe, a Johnny-come-lately Jew. Didn't I say in the beginning of the presentation these people were from the area of Matani, present-day Turkey? That would be right here. Ashkenaz, their origin goes back to the Hyksos, who first attacked the Tigris Euphrates and then came into the Nile Valley. So here you see the maps right here. These are the people that we've always had problems with. The problem is we don't understand a historical war. It's a historical war with these people. And European Ashkenazi, European Jews know this. We're the people who don't know it. It's an ancient historical war from the time we've had contact with them. When we went back to the highlands of Gondar in Ethiopia, we can see the Beta Israel people, the Aga people. And Dr. Ben is also an Aga or Beta Israel. And they look at themselves as being the chosen people, the original chosen people, where the European Jews are trying to say they are the chosen people of God. As I said before, the first people on the planet Earth are the chosen people of God. Ursa is the power of Ma'at, truth, justice, and righteousness for the Sultan king to sit on the throne. Okay? Under God, Ra. Septepen Ra. He's chosen by Ra. He's chosen by God. Ra-Mesu, he's born of Ra. That is the royal name, not Ramses II that you're most familiar with, Ramsey, but Ra-Mesu, if we say it for short. Chosen, Septepen Ra, this is where European Jews get God's chosen children. It came out of Septepen Ra. Ra chose the first people. God chose the first people to be on the planet were African people. All anthropological records have documented that African people were the first people on the planet Earth. Ra has kissed you from the dawn of time. That's why you got melanin. You do not reflect the sun. You pull in the sun. You have melanin. So he knew he was chosen by Ra. So we should all know Septepen Ra. You're chosen by Ra. Because Ra has kissed you from the dawn of time. That's why you have melanin. Color. Of that succulent kiss that Ra has kissed you now down in Abu Simbel where you are right now, seriously giving you a succulent kiss. All right? He's born of Ra. Okay? Your melanin telling you that you're born of Ra. Okay?